Welcome back to the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. Now is the point in the show where I mute music and start flabbering the gums and talking about We'll Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. That's where we're at. That's where we have the show. This is a resource center. It's where we have a gym, weight room. We get all pumped up. We have a computer lab. We've got ping pong and foosball tables. We got a number of meeting rooms in here. It is a resource center. You can come down here and check it out 7 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have 6:30 a.m. meetings, structured AA meetings. We have daily 1 p.m. meetings. Every night we have a 7 p.m. meeting, 6 p.m. fellowship. 7 o'clock on Saturdays at night, we have a walk and talk. Sundays, we do Sunday Fun Day. Every day of the week, we got stuff going on here. Go to the website, the willworkforrecovery.org/podcast. There's some more information on there about it. And I am hearing something weird in my ear. Okay, there we go. I got my headphone in. But I'm figuring this out. This is not new, but not old either. We've got some old familiar faces in the house tonight. We're going to be flowing through a bunch of people. We got American Pie Pizza's going to be in the house like always. Come on down here. Check this out. The show is your show as always. We talk about recovery. We talk about this new way of life. We talk about resources and we network and we just get things going. Look at Jake is all over it. We got our beautiful lights and our little cross dillies. The show's growing. We're figuring it out as we go. We had Eric in here last week and the week before, fine-tuning some stuff, so I should sound a little more crisp in your ears. We got some new wires. As always, we are just trying to get things moving forward and to your liking. So that goes without saying that if you have ideas for the show, if you have questions or concerns or comments, come at me. My number's on the bottom of the screen, as always. Or you can use the comment section and share this podcast. Share. We got the YouTube. I think we still got 2218 YouTube page. We got the We'll Work for Recovery YouTube page. We got the We'll Work for Recovery Facebook page. And we're working on getting its own Facebook page. We had one before that was linked up with 2218. I'm having some issues with passwords and linking it to the show, but we're figuring all that stuff out. So share that with your friends. I know a lot of people that were listening before are having a tough time finding the show, and they just didn't realize that they can find it through the We'll Work for Recovery pages now. But I'm sure that you could just share this to your page. And I also was able to start sharing it to a lot of those sober and serious and sober and fun and hope dealers and all these other pages. I think I did that correctly. Like I said, a lot of this is me trying to figure out some stuff. Remember, guys, they used to tell me, Tim, you're just a talent. That doesn't work anymore. I don't get to just ride you're just a talent wave.
Just the talent.
Yeah, when all the other people left, you have to be everything.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'm so far from that. See,
what do you mean? You've been doing it for over a year.
By myself? It has been, what? Yeah, do you guys hear that?
A little bit, but it's fine. I left in April over a year ago. This May, April. No,
that's a year and a half ago.
Yeah, this May, April. You've been on your own that long. And look at. We left you to your devices, and you're thriving and striving and doing good.
Dottie, I'm a loner. I'm a rebel.
You're not a loner. You have all these friends.
How's your recovery going, Dad?
Oh, pretty great.
No.
It's going great.
Yeah, that was great. I got so much insight out of that.
Oh, you brought a friend with the help, girl, man. Look, I'm loving life. So Halloween was awesome.
You were here.
I was here. I was at 2218 too. I went there, and it was the first positive experience I've had there in 2.5 years. So that was great.
That's good.
Yeah, it was super great. And you know that some people came and talked to me about stuff I would have rather not talked about, all the icky stuff. But that's going to happen, and we were able to just get into it.
That's what's up.
You know what? And I'm kind of like, hey man, they're like, come back more, and I'm like, probably someday.
Perfect. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Tad, and I'm a fucking drug addict.
Tad, the fucking drug addict. Who are you?
Jake, addict, alcoholic.
You're not the fucking alcoholic addict?
Yeah.
Not tonight? Young man, get on that mic. Who are you?
I'm Angel.
Who are you?
I'm Angel, recovering addict.
Welcome to the show, Angel. So this is your first time on the show, correct?
That is correct.
These two are veterans. How's your recovery going?
Man, my recovery is going good.
Why?
There's a whole lot going on in my recovery, but that's how it should be, right?
That is how it's supposed to be. We keep moving, keep moving. Belly over and up. Get close without moving the mic.
Belly up.
Like, yeah, move your chair over so you don't have to move the mic. I got it all, kitty wampus. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask some questions here, and I want you guys to... Yeah, you two are both getting on the show later. You're both coming on the show, both you kids.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and I want you guys to... we're going to talk about this.
What about, did you ask him how his recovery was going?
I did. Jake, how is your recovery going?
Ebbs and flows, just as it should. If I told you guys that it's always super high peaked, you guys would look at me and be like, no, it's not. We're also in recovery, right? And if I told you it's way down here all the time, then I'd probably get grilled about, like, what are you doing different?
See, this is what I'm talking about. Jake he knows what to do. Here's what I want us to start doing. This got brought up to me at a 1 o'clock meeting that I go to here at Will Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. Every day of the week, there's a 1 o'clock meeting. It's very unconventional. It's what we just go in there and it's like this podcast. We go in there and today Angel was there. We go in there and we just talk. And if someone needs to share something, people will be quiet and we'll share. And if you want feedback, we'll get feedback. But more or less, it's exactly what we do on this show. And I'm going to bring some of that 1 o'clock meeting to the show right now.
Ooh.
You guys, talk to me about the scariest thing in your sobriety. What is the scariest thing about being sober?
You're looking at me. You want me to start?
Anyone, yeah, anyone.
The scariest thing, today the scariest thing is where I'm at, when new guys come in and they ask you, hey, will you be my sponsor? And then, you start sponsoring these guys, and then the scariest thing is I end up wanting it more than they do. I want them to stay sober more than I want.
But I'm going to give you the main thing someone said to me, too, is like when sponsors are like, I'm having this issue with my sponsor, this issue, they're having a problem with God, what gets brought up? Are you still sober?
I'm still sober.
So
I have 100% success rate with sponsees because I'm still sober.
There you go.
There you go.
So the way I should have asked this was because I could come up with a list of things. I'm thinking about when I was at my inpatient and I was about to get let out. I was really filled with a lot of fear. Because there's a lot more fear about sobriety and early recovery than there is now. Talk to me about that. Like, do you remember, like, in early recovery before you got sober, what was some of the fears?
Withdrawal.
That's valid as
I
shit.
was so terrified of withdrawal.
Right. That was what kept me high for 4 extra years.
Exactly.
That fear.
And that fear actually caused me to go into precipitated withdrawal because I was so afraid of it that I took the Suboxone too early.
Right. No, I get it, and that's a problem that people do. What was one of your fears, Angel?
I don't know. I had it was kind of normal to me because I tried to get clean so many times. So it was like. Like when I finally, at the end, you finally was like, all right, the fear is, am I going to make it this time? Am I going to fall on my face again? Or am I going to run in the same crowd or this and that? Or what am I going to do different? So like.
That's a great one to ask yourself. What am I going to do different?
Yeah, what am I going to do different? So like in reality, like, there's a whole lot I did different, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What did you do different?
Put myself out there on everything. Says like my sponsor says, you fly with the eagles or you cluck with the chickens. You know what I mean? Like,
Keep it going, you guys.
So it's hard to say, but in reality, I started work. You know what I mean? I started, just a little bit of work. You know what I mean? And then I actually thought about what I want to do with my life, with work. You know what I mean? And then what I didn't like, and figured out what I liked and what I didn't like. But I stuck in meetings. I hit 3-4 meetings a day. Not kidding. We were meeting hopping all day. Right after treatment, we went to at least 2-3 meetings. So like doing a whole year of that pretty much like that's what really got me. You know what I mean? So like when you just put yourself out there and you introduce yourself to everybody and anybody in the rooms, it's really hard not to get to get out of the rooms.
And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to fall away and hide.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I did different.
Good answer.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I did this multiple times, so I did know a lot of people too. Well, before this, they were still in the rooms, or you know what I mean. Now today, dude, it's the best part about being in recovery is when you see somebody else that you used to use with enter these rooms for me. That's for me personally.
Huh.
Like that feeling is like, man, I can't believe we were sitting on the same couch with the same rig. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and now we're here. You know what I mean, you getting your family back and this and that, and or you gotta actually functional and not abusive relationship with a female. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot different. It's a whole lifestyle of change.
You know what? That's valid too, because the point of being out there running with some people, I've now lately seen some come in the rooms that I was with. Tell me about some of your fears in recovery, and then you're booted. And so are you.
When I first got into the rooms, my fears was the cycle because I was always stuck in the same freaking cycle. And like I'd be sober, like 70 days was about my max, other than when I had a little more one time. And it was always this cycle. And like I'd ace being in the treatment centers. I'd do good in the halfway house or medium. But then like life would come and get lifey, and like would be getting a job, and I'd have bills and I'd be behind, and then, you know, shit would happen.
It's like Angel was saying, like that.
It was
that circle, and you're being used to always doing this.
And I would get stuck in the circle, and like I would only scratch the surface of what was wrong with me, and you know, whether that's just getting to the fifth step and holding some shit back so it's still eating, or going to therapy and then drudging up shit, and then you move because you're not in that sober house, and then all of a sudden like time's up. Now you got to figure out where to live, how to pay the bills.
Yep.
And what happens when you get your back against the wall? You start selling dope again. You start doing
Going back to what we know that's most comfortable.
And like I had to look, because this time I knew that things were going to be different. I didn't know if that meant I was going to stay clean, but I knew that, so I was going to go to a sober house, something that I was unwilling to do for 15, 20 years.
Right.
Things, you know, I was going to stick through all of outpatient treatment, which something I rushed out of. And I did that shit, and lo and behold, I stayed clean. So, like, my fear was the same, ending up dead, you know, all that shit. A lot of what these guys talked about.
What did you do different?
What did I do? A lot of the stuff I talked about, in addition to doing different, because like, look, man, I'm an all-in type of guy, and I had always done service work, and just basically what I did different is I applied all the stuff, listened to other people, and when shit got real, I fucking stuck it out. When I wanted to leave because my feelings were hurt, when people didn't like me, or when I started setting boundaries, because when I started setting boundaries that were good for me and healthy, guess what? I thought everyone was going to be like, yay, you're getting healthy. That's not what happened.
They're gone.
People in Alano clubs, people in meetings were like, wait, what? You mean you're not going to let us walk all over you? No, people were mad. People were upset. And so instead of bailing like I had and going back to my comfort zone, I stuck it out. And in that, there was growth and healing and a lot of lessons, as you'll experience a lot of times. But I don't know. It's been fun.
Tell me about your gratitude, and if you're going to hang out, you're coming back on. But tell me about your gratitude, because Chelsea needs to grab your seat.
Yep. So, man, you messed up my line. I can't even say it.
You can. Go ahead. I know I cut you off.
I ain't grateful for shit, that thing.
No.
But
yes,
that's
you
not
are.
real. Look, man, I'm glad. So I had a transformational experience on Halloween, being out and about, and like, I don't know, you know, because you're my friend, that I haven't been the same guy for the last year and a half since some things happened to me, and it was a combination of things. Things in the room, things outside of the room. My girl got cancer. I got hit by a car. I almost, you know, lots of stuff happened, and I haven't been the same guy, and I used to be super involved. And Halloween was huge for me because I realized that I don't hate people. I seen all my friends. I realized I miss people. I realized that I miss being in recovery, and I miss helping people. And it was huge. And I realized that people, places, and things don't matter. It's what you're doing. And I can do those things, be around my friends, and help people at any place, even a place that hurt me before. So the why, the where, the when doesn't matter. It's the what. And it was huge. And I started going to church. I started reconnecting with some people. And I don't know, like, on top of that, I've had a lot of personal growth. Like, I'm about to go take my driver's test. Something you've been on me for 3 years about. Like, when are you going to start driving, bro? What do we got to do? Well, like, I just got to take the test and pass now. I have a car. Like,
Pitter patter.
You know those goals that I've had to get done by September for 3 years? They're all at my fingertips now.
And now you're going to keep following through and doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting married next October. That's like just life is lifey, but look, man, I've had a lot of weird shit happen. My grandma died, all sorts of stuff, but
Life showing up.
life is lifey, but this program teaches you to deal with it, and that's the thing. If you don't use it and you're not connected, you're not going to get the benefits. It's, it's like, you remember what I always used to say? I can give you a hammer, but if you set that hammer down and you just start pounding the nail with your hand, you're going to hurt yourself. If you don't know how to use the hammer and you just start hitting yourself with it, you're going to get hurt. So you have tools and you need to just utilize them.
Tad, I love you. Thank you for coming
Later.
back on the show. Melinda, batters up. Jake, same question. Wrap us with your gratitude, and then someone's coming to grab your seat.
Gratitude right now is a little bit different. So in the last week, like I had my own struggles, basically within the program of recovery, and I'm at the center of every one of these issues, right? And I'm grateful that because I'm in these rooms. One of the things I've learned is that people have learned to love you through your character defects, right? Like mine will shine through at times, and they're not going to be clean. They're always going to be messy, and I am going to inflict damage one way or another. It's a lot less. My damage now is a lot less, long term or spillover type thing, but I was turning into a grouch, and like my sponsor would always use those cutesy little terms like, quote the big book, grouch and the brainstorm are not for us. And, I always want to blow them up like, yeah. Like I get it. I understand what you're telling me, but being able to be centered and someone that will sit there and let me bleed on them a little bit, but then be able to correct the course, like listen to me and not just allow me to vent, but say, what's your part in this? And then help me look at myself, because this person, these people in these rooms have cared and loved me through my character defects, and they're there for me to walk me through these issues so that I can grow, because they don't want to see me sit on the couch and just fade away and die. And it's not always die like, oh, I'm going to be dead. It's die as in like a spiritual death where I'm going to be miserable.
Mentally and everything else.
Right.
Yes.
Jacob, I love you. Chelsea, I didn't mean for you to have to sit there, but you're up after Jake here. And Jake's switching, so come batters up. Now, this is a question for the three of you to dive into together. First, would you introduce who you are?
I'm Melinda, alcoholic addict.
Melinda, welcome to the show again.
Thank
You were
you.
on, what, 2 years ago maybe?
Yeah,
It was a
during
while
COVID.
back. She's one of the veterans. And then, young lady, who are you? If you want, go
Chelsea.
grab some pizza if you want real quick. Go ahead. But I need you back. Chelsea's another veteran, too. Welcome back to the show from
Thanks,
some
guys.
time ago.
Getting the grease off my fingers
Greasy
from this
fingers.
yummy pizza that
We've
you
got
guys are
American Pie
providing.
Pizza, who brought in some delicious eats like they always do. So if you're curious about their pizza and you aren't sure about going to American Pie, come on down here and try it first. It's excellent. Guarantee you'll go back. And the chicken, hands down, some of the best in the Twin Cities. I'd say in the upper Midwest. But that's a bold statement that I will stand behind. American Pie Pizza down here at Will Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. So here, girls, I've got a question, and Angel can hear me asking it because he's going to come join us too. What does it mean to you to be part of recovery? Go ahead. What's it mean to you guys to be part of recovery?
Oh boy. So for me, I mean, it's just reality. Like, it's my life now. It has given me the ability to be a mother to my child who I lost in addiction and show up for him in ways that I was never mature enough to. In recovery, I have had a child, and it is giving me the ability to raise him in a completely sober life. Like, if done correctly, I don't have to ever let my child see me high.
Right.
And that's a blessing that I wasn't able to give my oldest, but God willing, I can with Dylan. And, you know, me and my children have been through some pretty brutal things in recovery, and like, we made it through together. I was able to be there for them when we found my grandma who had died, you know? Just things that kids shouldn't have to go through. I was able to be there with them. And if I was out getting high, I wouldn't have that.
So, like, in everything you said, yeah, that's a lot of people, of course, that's like almost a no-brainer. But a lot of people don't understand, these are things that we have given up to our addiction. All these things that, like, your normies out there would be like, yeah, of course. We give that stuff up for that addiction side of things. So recovery. Come on.
Okay,
Come
so
on, kids.
for me, you say, like, what does it mean to be a part of recovery? And today, I feel a much bigger responsibility with my part in recovery. Having been sober for a little while and been in the recovery community for a while, that's what saved my life. And so, I feel strongly that responsibility statement of, I always want the hand of recovery to be there. Mm-hmm. And for that, I'm responsible. And staying active in a program on the front lines with people, whether it's in meetings, in my regular life, in work, wherever it is, I think today my part in recovery is really having some accountability, stepping up to the plate, and figuring out what I can pack into the stream of life, right? What I can do to be of service. So that service piece for me is a big part of my recovery today. It's no longer about drugs and alcohol for me. It's really about how do I show up in this community that saved my life. And my higher power does a really good job of kind of helping me navigate that and showing me where to go. And I navigate that through you guys. So the people that I meet in recovery really help me have that accountability and show up. Intensive work with other alcoholics and addicts is what I have to do on a daily basis in order to keep this thing. So carrying a message, being on those front lines, and really understanding my responsibility to recovery is what it's about for me today.
So here's something I want to alter. I'm not even going to let you answer that question.
Come on, I had something good to say. I was
bring
like,
it. Come on. What's it mean to you?
all right, the mean to me is something basically being part of something way bigger than yourself. You know what I mean? And it's so much bigger. Like, dude, it's crazy how much. All right, I keep my key tags with me. I wear my NA hat. I wear Recovery Warrior on the back of my truck. You know what I mean?
NA hat.
And you know, and I keep that out there because it's so much bigger than me, and I want to be, like you said, I want to be there. I want to be there if somebody needs me, if needs my help, like, or if needs the program, and I can show them the way. You know what I mean? I want them to find it as soon as they can. You know what I mean? You don't know who's out there struggling at the times. You know what I mean? Like, because I've been out there and wishing for an answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's nuts how blind you really are when you're in addiction, but like it's out there. You know what I mean, like, and I got plenty of people came up to ask me like, what is this, or how do I do this, or how do I get into here, or you know what I mean? And it's like I have that. I don't have all the answers, but I have a whole lot of answers because I have a whole lot of experience with it.
And a lot more answers than you ever did before recovery.
Yeah.
You know. So here's a question. You know what? Talk to me about your gratitude. What's your gratitude look like today? Name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. So tell me about your gratitude.
Oh, that's nice. Oh man, let's see. I'm grateful for breath, man. Just being, you know, like in my addiction, I was always so high. Like even, you know what I mean, like. I used to always look at the sky, you know what I mean, when it had those pretty colors and it's just going down, I mean, and I value that so much more. Even though how much I value that in my addiction, I value it so much more today because I know, you know what I mean, that and my kids, like, dude, I have a fucking relationship with my kids. Dude. And after 5 years with my son, I haven't talked to him or seen him in 5 years. Today, dude, we talk daily.
Dad.
Yeah, I got his phone number. You know what I mean? I got to go to his football games. Like, that's crazy. And my oldest, like, he calls me and just, you know what I mean? We have such a strong connection.
Some shit you wouldn't have if you weren't in recovery.
No,
period.
I wouldn't even cared about. I mean, honest the truth, I really didn't care about anything because all I did was push everybody I did care about.
I think that's what we do though. Like, we don't want someone interrupting our addiction.
No, because they're the closest ones to get up out of it. You know?
Right.
But.
And I'm right there with it. Angel, thank you for coming on the show. Will you come back on the show? Mm-hmm. All right. Now, get off the show. No, I'm joking.
So I just wanted to interject with something really quick. I'm sitting here and we're talking about gratitude and I'm sort of like just soaking it all up, looking it around. And the last time I was on the show was like in the beginning, I think.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
2218.
Yeah, when it was back at the 2218
you were on the
club.
first 5 or 10 shows.
I was pretty early. I was on there with my partner Leon, and man, I can't believe I was just sitting here noticing like the adornments on my microphone, how fancy these headphones, I mean, the little tea light colored the ambiance, the mood. I mean, there's something to be said for like the space that you're in and, you know, like this safe, comfortable, welcoming vibe that you can create for this podcast. And I am feeling it. And I'm grateful for it because like you've come a really long way from where it was in the beginning. And I just thought I would congratulate you and say
Gas
thank
me
you.
up.
For
you.
no, but
Thank
just
you.
but you know what? That's what recovery does. It allows us to be able to grow in the things that we're passionate about, and take it to the people that you know that need to hear a message. So what you're doing is really cool here. I'm grateful to be part of it, and props to the improvements and the sweet ass room. And thanks to Will Work
Hey,
for Recovery
Will Work for Recovery.
putting you on here because
Right.
this is legit. So yeah.
2520 North 2nd Street. And real quick on this, I know when you come down here, you don't hear him talking about it, but I'm an advocate for it, is this place doesn't have money. This place is struggling. It's a hard topic to talk about, but this place runs off of donations and 7th tradition and handouts. And it is not an AA. It is not an NA. It is a recovery center. And apparently I'm not on a podcast. So if you are able to give, please come down, give. Otherwise, go to their website that you see, willworkforrecovery.org, and give that way. Otherwise, come down, give some time, or come drop some food off. We had a meeting tonight, I think 125 people. The majority of them are newcomers who are in sober living. And we have coffee and candy and food, but them are all donations. So come be part of that. We could use your help. Next question, boys and girls. Who are you, young man?
My name's Caleb.
Welcome to the show, Caleb.
Yeah.
How do you guys cope with shame and guilt?
Caleb, you're on the hot seat because you're the newest.
How do you deal with shame and guilt, Caleb?
Well, I used to deal with it by drinking, right? Now I don't really experience shame or guilt
Really?
because my addiction, I never really did a lot of things that I regret or that would make me feel shame. So I don't know how to deal with that.
Okay, well, and that's what we get to do is keep coming back to learn how to. Chelsea, how do you deal with shame and guilt? You know what, Melinda? Guilt or shame? If it ever pops up, how do you deal with it, or how did you deal with it?
Well, I mean, it's a night and day difference. I dealt with it by getting high. I dealt with it by not thinking about it. I dealt with it by sugarcoating it with whatever made me feel better in that moment. You know, and in recovery, that's not reality. It comes up. Actually, I was just talking to somebody about this, how it does come up quite often, that I want to feel shame and guilt, but because of the relationship that I have with God, like, it's not a thing. And so it's like when I do feel the feelings coming, it's like I have these tools. I can work on step work. I can reach out to sponsees. I can be of service in the areas that I'm of service nowadays. I can pray about it. I can, journal about it. Somebody mentioned that in the meeting tonight. There's many different things that I can combat it with so that it doesn't stay stuck in my head and be something that trajects me into a different lane than I want to be in.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Anyone who's been on the show already tonight, if you want to get back on, just sit, hold tight, and you'll come back on after we go through people. I think those are powerful things that you shared about that, because these tools that we've been given, if I don't remember to utilize them, they go out the window, and then I sit in my shit sometimes. That's why coming to meetings, for me, it's a continuous reminder of a lot of these tools. How do you deal with it, whether it's past or present? How has it... I guess I should gear that towards in recovery, or how is recovery showing you how to deal with shame and guilt?
Well, I mean, I think Melinda hit a lot of them on the head, and like you said, utilizing the tools that we get in these programs, and a lot of that looks like step work, right? So getting in and learning how to pause when agitated, right, and utilize the networking, the support system that we've built within these rooms, and how to actually reach out and then take the advice that we get, right, and actually maybe take some action towards the advice that we get. I remember what it was like early on trying to learn to change my thinking, right? Trying to learn to do things differently. And those are two different things. That's what I've been taught, right? I've been taught that in these rooms, I have to act my way into new thinking, right? And so I wasn't necessarily going to be rid of my shame and guilt so easily. For me, I had a lot of shame and guilt from my sexual behaviors, from when I was drinking and drugging, but also from like early in my recovery. You know, I put down the drugs and alcohol, and then other character defects really flared up for me. And so I had a lot of shame and remorse and guilt early on in my recovery, before learning how to process those things and deal with them, right? And so what I learned was I had to show up and be willing to do what was suggested to me. And what was suggested to me was to treat myself with respect, right? And to not sleep around and to not, you know, give up my emotional stability so easily to other people, right? So what was instructed for me to do was to act a different way. And believe it or not, I started acting a different way, and I stopped believing that I was not worthy, right? I started believing that I was worthy. Right. And for me, it's been a progressive process.
Is it almost part of like the positive affirmations and becoming a new normal in a way? Like you're saying, you just keep telling yourself these things and it becomes the new normal?
Kind of, yeah. The more you practice recovery, the more it becomes your reality, right?
And on a side note, there was on, I think the first show you were on, you used some word about your past, and I didn't know what it meant. And you and Tad and Leon had quite a laugh at my unwordsmithly type of knowledge of words.
Yeah, I don't
But it was
remember.
about your past, and we don't need to bring it up. But you shared about that then, and you're sharing about it now, too. It's like, you've come a long way, and these tools that we've been given to learn how to deal with this type of stuff. So, we have a question from an audience member for you guys to talk about.
All
It
right.
is, we'll start with you, Caleb.
All right.
What is one thing that you've always wanted to do but you've never done, and why?
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you but if you figure it out, no, I'm joking.
No, I want to go skydiving.
Skydiving.
Hey,
I was gonna say.
Hey, yo. I've done it. Suckers.
So what are you gonna do about getting there in a plane and jumping out of it? How are you gonna make that happen?
Well, do you have to get a
I don't know. I haven't done it.
instructor that helps you?
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe Chelsea, tell us, what was it like to be able to do such a thing?
Well, yeah, your first time you're going to have to go tandem. You're going to have to go with somebody. But, you know, I mean, just commitment. Set your mind to it. Do the research. Find out if it's something you really want to do. Find other people that are passionate about it too, maybe. That was how I went about it. I know for a fact that there have been plenty of people in recovery within the last year that went on a big recovery skydiving group trip. And that's how recovery works too. You know, like we get these new passions, we get these new hobbies, we get these crazy ideas. And when we get clean and sober and we learn how to act, we can actually follow through on some of those crazy passions, hobbies, and ideas, right? And we get the people around us to back us up on that. So that's what I would maybe suggest is like do the research, find some other people that want to do it with you.
I'm sorry, I
You
just
know?
got your message.
Yeah.
You know what? And if you do come down to the show, there's a back door where there's a garage door. It's on not 2nd Street, but on I think what is this 26. If you come down 26, there's a big loading dock door and garage door. If you want to come to the show and be on the show, you can come in that way. The front door is usually locked at this time. We lock it up after the meeting, a half hour after. So I apologize to anyone who came down to be on the show and I wasn't at the door to open it. Gracie, where are you going? Oh, I was hoping you were on next. Okay.
Tim, don't do that.
Okay. Well, then, love you, Kenzie. Love you, Gracie. Love all you guys that were here and now left. Melinda, talk to me about your gratitude.
Oh, goodness. I literally focus on my gratitude so much. You know, I don't even really, I don't even really know how to put it into words. Like, I'm so grateful for everything. Like, the guy before me was just talking about, like, the sky. Like, that's something that I'm doing with Dilly. Like, oh my gosh, Dilly, look at that sky. And he's like, it is so pretty. I'm like, it is. You know, and it's like now every night he wants to pray. And he specifically wants to pray for people. Like, his teacher was out sick. And he was so excited to come home from school today to tell me, because we've been praying about her for the last couple nights. He's like, my teacher was back in school today, Mom, and I told her that we prayed for her. You know, and it's such a cool thing. And now my oldest, like, he goes to church Wednesday nights for the high school night. And it's just, I was not raised in the church. So watching these two grow up with that is just a super cool experience that, like, I did not have. And it wasn't even that, like, I grew up in a family that didn't believe. They just didn't do it. They were addicts, they were alcoholics, and, like, it wasn't like they were anti-God. It was just that wasn't a part of their story. And so for me, it is so much of my story that it's so crazy to see my kids doing that, you know? And it's like what I talked about earlier. Like, I'm grateful that I can be the mom that I am. I'm grateful that I have this job that, like, now, you know, I'm the assistant manager, and, like, I go to work and I absolutely love my job because I love my coworkers. Like, I'm not going to become a millionaire cutting hair, but, like, I literally go to work with my family. Like, I've been through some crazy things over the last 7 years with them that without my work family, I wouldn't have made it through. And it's like, I have these relationships now today that, like, I can't say that I've ever had. And, you know, I mean, that's just, like, a tidbit of what I'm grateful for. Like, grateful to be here.
Melinda, I love you. Thank you for getting outside yourself and coming on the show. And will you come back and be on the show again?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Brando,
Love
you're
you.
up. Caleb, talk to me about your gratitude. What's that look like today? What are you grateful for?
Oh, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that I'm sober, for one,
After your gratitude.
and and I'm grateful that I'm working
No, I'm listening.
with the recovery, like family.
Uh-huh.
I'm just getting amped up for just to do things with sober.
Right, the
And
future.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, I'm very grateful for that. And every day, I pray to God every day, and I tell him what a grateful thing, what I'm grateful for.
So, last question for you is, how did you hear about Will Work for Recovery? Do you remember who told you about it and what they told you about it?
I don't remember. It was
Better question. What was your first thought when you walked into Will Work for Recovery?
my first thought was, this is interesting.
We've had really crazy answers to that one. We've had some from, like, reminds me of the dope house without the dope. Reminds me of my dad's garage. A lot of stuff. And a lot of people just say it's not like a church basement, but, like, there's no wrong answer. It was is a good answer. I get it. But, dude, Caleb, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate chopping up with you on your ride home. Is there something you want to add before you go?
No, I'm
Perfect. Thank you for
good.
coming on, brother.
Yes.
Young man over here, Tim, batter's up. You're next. So now I have a question for the three of you guys. Another one here. Another round of questions. Or you know what? Hold up, Tim. Where's Lauren? Is she in the house?
Oh,
I need Lauren up here.
yeah,
Tim, you're
baby.
up after
Come
Lauren.
on, baby.
Lauren, batter's up.
Let's go, babe.
Lauren!
Lauren.
I don't have a pause button.
Lauren! Chelsea's on baby duty.
All right, here's a question for you three to start talking about. Biggest failures and biggest successes in recovery.
Ooh.
Come on.
Biggest failure is probably.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm Morgan. I'm a grateful recovery
Morgan,
addict.
welcome to the show. Who are you?
Lauren addict.
Lauren, get on that mic. Thank you, Lauren. Who are you?
Brandon, addict.
Biggest failures and biggest successes in recovery. Whichever one you want to talk about, let's hear about them. Come on.
Biggest failure is probably not being an active part of the program and then slipping and relapsing. But my biggest success is probably continuing to come back and being able to raise my daughter clean and knowing that I never have to use again.
Like, have you guys, either of you experienced, I don't recall, and if I do, I won't say anyways, either of you two dealt with relapses and coming back in the rooms?
A million times.
Like, kind of share about that, like, the two of you. No, on here, come on. Yeah, get on that mic. Is that what you're going to tell her?
Yeah.
Get closer to the mic. This mic is goofy, but here. There you go. Well, no, we got to be able to hear you. It doesn't bite either. So tell me about it. Like, what was that like leaving the rooms and coming back?
For the most part, it really doesn't faze me because I don't care what people have to think about me.
Really?
I do it. I really don't.
That's the shit. I wish I had that in my back pocket.
It doesn't faze me claiming 100 different 24-hour key tags, a bunch of
Really?
30s. I don't care what anybody thinks.
No,
I don't.
Sarah,
I don't do
not-
it for
not
everybody
being an
else.
ass,
I do
like-
it for myself.
And that's what I've seen works best for people themselves. That was just me asking on what she said, but failures and successes. Talk to me.
Biggest failure in the rooms is going back out the second anything gets hard. I don't like to reach out to people. I don't, in the past, never used my sponsor the correct way that I should have. Second anything went bad, I just ran right back out.
So how would you, can you even relate to that, or share on that, what she said?
Well, on what Lauren said?
Yes. Can you relate to that? Like when your back's against the wall, like what do you guys think about that?
Oh, I mean, it's hard. You get in that spot, and I think, I think you get to a point where you get away from the program, and once you get away from the program a little bit, it's real easy to just walk away from it. And it's real easy to point the finger and be like, well, she didn't do this, he didn't do that, they didn't call, blah, and it's all about them. And what I've learned in the program is that we're really good at pointing the finger at everybody else instead of looking inwardly. For me, that was my problem for a long time. And I try not to say today that I failed at anything. I just found out what didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I get in that failure mindset, I start to turn everything into a failure. Why I can't, why I shouldn't, if I would have done this, if I would have done that. I got to remember that we're all human. I'm going to make mistakes.
Right.
Excuse me. We're all going to make mistakes. You just got to pull yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back at it.
Do you have experience with that? Having your back against the wall, like, in fight or flight, or do you see what I'm saying? Like, compared to what they were saying, where are you at with that?
I mean, I've been there a million times. I think that I haven't been there in quite a while, though. Like, I've been trying to actively work my program, and showing up and trying to, like, my mental health has been a big thing for me. I went through a lot of trauma when I was in my active use, and after that, it was mental health city. Like, that was all I focused on for a really long time, and that was kind of just what I decided to make most of my time with, I guess. And so with that comes trying to heal everything and trying to keep myself out of that fight or flight. I get back there at certain times with certain triggers, but now I've learned the tools to get myself out of there, and I don't know.
So, Brandon, what's your recovery looking like today? And this is going for all you guys. Talk to me about how recovery's looking like today.
My recovery right now, it's getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot more active in the program again, hitting different meetings, trying to talk to people when I do walk into a meeting, not just kind of walking in, finding my chair, dipping out, I touched on it earlier, in the meeting, and I work a job where it's 12 to 16 hours a day, so it becomes real easy to make an excuse why I can't do things. I got to do this. I got to be up at 4. I got to, whatever it is. I got to a point where I walked away from my original sponsor. I tell people all the time, don't work the program I work because it's not a good idea.
Yeah, the way I do my recovery may kill you.
Absolutely.
And the way you do your
Yeah.
recovery may kill me. Figure out what works for your recovery. Gosh darn it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Gosh darn it. So talk to me about how your recovery's looking like. Excuse me. Ooh, this American Pie pizza is so good. Talk to me about how your recovery's looking like today.
Recovery for me today is showing up to different meetings, but having my home group, which is something that was always recommended to me from the start.
Side question. What is a home group?
It's kind of like a group that you go to weekly, or it's a regular meeting that you attend.
Is it something you want to share? I mean, we can share about meetings we go to. Is it something you'd like to put out there for the public?
For sure.
What's your home group?
It's the Sunday night 9 p.m. NA meeting at Blaine Alleno.
Blaine Alleno, right off Central.
Yep.
It's north a bit, but it's right off Central.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Yeah. So, dude.
I know I hornswoggled that answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. Let's see who speaks first. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So.
Got one.
What do you mean?
No, I said let's see who speaks first. That's his game in the question department's like, who can uncomfortably sit in silence without speaking? So here's what we're gonna do now. At least the audience got to hear that, not these guys. Talk to me about your gratitude. Let's just everyone, come on. What are we grateful for? Oh, look at the little shorties.
I'm grateful for my baby. Hi. I'm grateful for my sponsor. I'm grateful for this program. I'm grateful for my parents.
Mom, take
not my
the
parents.
dice.
My mom. Family. Work. I'm just kind of. I feel very blessed to have the things that I have to be grateful for, because it hasn't always been that way, as many people know and can experience for themselves.
Gratitude. This wasn't that bad. You're acting like someone pooped in your cereal. This is not that bad. Talk to me about your gratitude. You have a lot to be grateful for. Share about it.
I am grateful for my sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for meetings. I'm grateful that I am actually running the Sunday night meeting that she had mentioned.
At Blaine
Alano at
Okay.
9 o'clock on Sundays.
Okay. Okay, that's it? That's your gratitude? Yeah. Really? When you whisper, I can still hear you. That's the shit. Batter's up. Talk to me about your gratitude. And Rick and Daughter, you two are up next.
What am I grateful for? The people I've met in these rooms, hands down. Life doesn't get easier in recovery for me, but it gets easier to deal with. You know, and I've learned today that I have real friends. I can show up and do for others just like they do for me. It holds me accountable, and I'm grateful for that. There's so many different things to be grateful for. I don't know.
You don't know? Yes, you do. And,
I do.
And once you get off the show, you're going to be sitting back there like Lauren's going to do and be like, oh, shit, I should have said this and I should have said that.
No, you're right. I'm grateful that I learned how to show up and listen. Before I've bounced in and out of these rooms since I was 13 or 14 years old, and I never listened, and I always did things my way. Mm-hmm. And my way destroyed my life and everybody else's around me. So the second I showed up and I learned that, we got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We can listen twice as much as we talk. Things got a little bit easier, just to deal with.
Right.
I've learned, I'm just grateful that, like I said, that I got people that hold me accountable today. When I'm having a hard day, and it's not even hard days anymore. I get moments where, things get challenging, and I know now all I got to do is pick the phone up and reach out, and some days are easier than others with that, but I just do it. When something's hard, I just push myself to do it anyway. If I'm not getting uncomfortable, I'm not going to grow.
And you'd say that's something recovery gave you?
Absolutely, 100%.
My man. Brando, I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Timmy.
All right, batter's up. Who do I have here? Get close to the mics. Who are you?
Rick Alcoholic.
Hey, Rick. What's your name?
Addison.
Addison. Young man?
My name's Pete.
Pete. Welcome to the show, everyone. I know you listen every week, and you make sure to always see what's going on, so you're very familiar with the show. But I got to ask something of you is, what do you like most about your dad?
That he takes care of us.
Oh, look at this. Do you like coming down to the center?
Yeah.
I saw you out there. Were you playing ping pong, or what were you guys doing out there?
We were babysitting the kids.
Babysitting. That's right. Do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah.
Did anyone give you any money?
No.
We'll make sure that changes. Dad's going to give you a couple bucks. Someone will. Otherwise, I got some candy you can have, but that's just kind of creepy when a guy my age offers candy to a person your age. So, Rick, how's your recovery going today?
Yeah, coming up on 9 months.
Those are sound effects.
But to be honest with you, it's a struggle sometimes. The struggle is worth not using over.
Why?
Well, I mean, what's it gonna do for me if I go out and get high or drunk? I mean, it ain't gonna do shit for me, but make me lose everything that I've gained. I mean, like my daughter said, that she's grateful that I'm able to be present to take care of them.
Right.
Like
And you
I
do.
should. I do my best.
We need a babysitter. I wish I knew one. Addison, we need your services. So, young man, get into the show here, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm fucking with you. So how's your recovery going right now? Talk to us about it.
Well, I'm fresh back, 2 weeks now, and it's rough. It's no joke.
You had some time under your belt?
The longest time I've ever had was like 13 months.
Okay, and then what? You went back out and you just came back in the rooms 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
How is it out there? Is the dope better?
The dope's getting worse.
And they're telling on you for free, huh?
And they're telling on you for free, man. There ain't no love out there. There's no
So
love.
I have a messed up kind of goofy question that to us it's a no-brainer, but why'd you go back out?
That I can't even answer. I'm trying to dig back to that. Self-sabotage, man.
Self-sabotage?
Yeah. To be honest, I got a God that's a jealous God, and I don't put him first sometimes. That's when things fall apart.
And who pays the price on that?
I pay the price for that.
And it's not a show to sit here and beat you up over. It's not. If
No.
If anything, I try to ask something that someone who's sitting out here thinking about going back out
I love
might
it.
hear something that you say that it's like, shit, it's not worth it. And I know it's not that easy. Usually someone on air is not going to say something that's going to make me make some better life choices, but you never know. You never know.
I love it. I'm able to let my guard down. You know what I mean? I feel safe here. There's no question that I'm afraid to answer because you guys have been there. You've seen it. You've done that. And sometimes it's just a fresh reminder, when the newcomer comes back and we can remind others how bad it is that it's just getting worse. It is.
Addison, there you are. I was like, I didn't scare you off, did I, dude? Come on. I was all excited that you got here. Addison, that's my boy. What was your thought when you walked in here? Like, you saw that big room. What was your thoughts? You're like, this place is messy. Or what was your thoughts? Cool? Or, like, put it this way. If you're going to explain this to someone else, like one of your friends, like, hey, you want to come babysit with me? There's this place. And it's like, how would you explain it?
It looked a little bit crazy at first, but it started to get normal once you come.
Like, all right, now here's a question that I haven't asked anyone. Is this room starting to look like the other one? I'm trying to make it look like the other one.
Yeah, but the other room has a lot more stuff.
I knew.
on the walls.
Paul, she even said it. We're nowhere near the other room yet. I got a lot more work to do in here to make it fit in. All right. We were going back and forth about having too much stuff in here already. But so you would say that to a friend is just like, oh, it's kind of, there's a lot of stuff on the walls.
Yeah.
But you feel safe down here? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And that's the other thing. Like, I know there's a big question in the community about kids coming with and this and that. And Rick, why don't you explain like what the options are here if you were to come with your kids? Like, can you still get your recovery and share about it?
Oh yeah, like before all this this babysitting deal went on, like a lot of people were. I feel like a lot of them were getting felt that they were being turned away because they didn't have a sitter, and and a lot of people come in with young babies, and babies do what they do. They cry and cause ruckus sometimes, but that's kids. Well, so my daughter had actually started. She got certified as CPR and all that good stuff to be a babysitter, a certified babysitter, and so we were just coming in and putting a flyer for her. And Paul and Carolyn had talked to her and be like, hey, what do you think about working down at the center for us to help other mothers and fathers who have children be able to have a meeting without being distracted. Mm-hmm. And I'm really blessed that my daughter has been able to be in the program with me the last 6 years. Like I see a growth in her just by her coming. So it's not
the
just
responsibilities that are with the sitting and all that.
Yeah, I mean, she's learning what I'm going through and learning her life experiences also.
See, and I didn't know the extent of this story, and I think that that's awesome. Like I talk about this being a resource center, about it having a gym, a computer room, ping pong, foosball tables, Sunday football game, big podcast studio, Bible study room. We have so much going on here, and we have a damn daycare. I mean, it's not all right, I got to drop my kids off, I'm going to work daycare, but a place you can come catch a meeting and know your child's going to be safe with a licensed babysitter.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, like a lot of Alanos and a lot of different clubs aren't too keen on having kids in the meeting.
And I'm going to interrupt here just for a second. As I was talking to Dustin, and it's not a detriment or a shot at other meetings, because I do get it. If you're trying to have a meeting and you got 3 kids bawling their heads up, how are you going to come in here to get your recovery, to be a parent, whatever?
Right.
There are meetings that if you have a child, you can't come in.
Yep.
And more so, a lot of there's certain fellowships, they do that and they hold strict to it. And I do know there's meetings out there that offer daycare. You can find it in the Where and When, and you can find it online. Whatever fellowship you're going to look for, they have that to offer. So, excuse me. That's a great thing to know. I didn't know that this was an option here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't either. Like a few weeks ago, we had a lady come in and she had 2 young children, and she kind of it was on a Tuesday night meeting, and which I run down here at Will Work on Tuesdays.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's actually picked up pretty well. Also, we started with 2 people and we've gotten almost to 30. So, but anyway, long story short on that is a lady came in with her 2 children, and she was kind of leaving herself by herself in the back, and I told her, I said, hey, I said, if my daughter is here, if you would like to have a sitter, my daughter will do it. And she's like, really? She's like, yeah. And just to see the glow in her eyes when we said that there was availability for a babysitter, like, dude, she was like, oh, here you go, take my kids.
But it's not that I'm advertising, hey, every night we have a certified babysitter here, but there are nights that there is a babysitter here. Friday nights, I know Will's daughter helps out, and now to know Addison's here, like, this is another aspect of Will Work for Recovery I think the community should know about is there are times you can come down here, catch a meeting, and your child will be safe while you can get your recovery.
Oh, 100% safe. I mean, she my daughter and Will's daughter both are very well with kids. My daughter has been raised up with little kids. I mean, since the time she can walk, there was always babies in our at our house. So it is nothing new to her. It kind of sucks because I see my daughter growing up, and it's like, it's seeing her from being a little kid, and now she'll be driving in another.
Woo-hoo, big girl.
Yeah, big girl, my ass. But no, I'm really grateful for the center, man, and I know somebody was saying earlier, about a home group. This has been my home group for the last 6 years, and I'm very blessed to have been able to be a part of this center and having the opportunity to run meetings.
Do you have a home group, young man?
This is my home group.
What is? Friday night, Monday night, Tuesdays, Wednesday? What's your home group?
Yeah, primarily Friday night Will Work for Recovery, yep.
All right, so what does, I know Rick, or someone's like, so what are you doing different this time? What is going on that's not going to be the same as last time?
Well, I know that it's all about what I put first, what's most important to me. And it's got to be, my recovery, God, my recovery, responsibilities. And that's something that I don't always do. And when I don't do that, that's when my life kind of gets in disarray. So I know that God's got to go first, where my recovery's got to go right next to it. You know what I mean? And then my health.
Addison, what makes you happiest today? I know you have a mouthful of candy. Rick, talk to me about your gratitude before I put Tim in your seat.
Man, I'm just grateful just to be around another day for my children and given the opportunities that I do today.
I love you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
I love you too, brother.
What makes you happiest?
Just seeing my family.
Seeing your family. Seeing Dad down here talking you up and you getting to babysit?
Yeah.
We appreciate you down at the center. We really appreciate what you're doing here. Thank you so much. Listen, don't take those off yet. That's for you. Thank you, Addison. All right, who hasn't been on? Get up here. I see Dale and Paul. And come on. And hey, come on. One of you 3 get up here. Who are you, young man?
Hi, my name's Tim.
Welcome to the show for the first time, Tim.
It's good to catch up with you again, Tim. I knew you when you were doing the podcast from 2218. And
Yes, sir.
then it took me a little while to catch up with you. Just finally did last weekend, and I'm glad I did.
And me too. I am as well. Question for you: have you ever been down here before?
This is my first time.
All right.
Time tonight. And I got here just in time to get a piece of pizza.
Is it all gone already?
I believe so.
Shit, I'm glad I grabbed a couple slices.
Yeah, man.
American Pie Pizza is really good, and
It was great.
I don't have a sponsor, but they partnered up. He was like, "You care if I bring pizza?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah." He didn't ask me to advertise, but I made sure to get some of their garb, and he's in recovery, and I can get behind that. That better be God calling.
Great pizza.
Yeah, it is. It's excellent. Were you able to go through the big room when you got here?
I took a walk around and I found the door.
So did you get to see in the big center?
I didn't go in there yet.
Shit,
No.
I wanted your opinion of it. I want your opinion of it. I like getting people's opinion when they first see what it looks like in there. So before you go, let me take you in there.
Okay, I'll get a look at it.
It's this times 50. Like all this garb on the wall.
Yeah.
It's busy as shit over there. What does your recovery look like today?
Well, I'm lucky. I decided to quit, and I did, but I didn't have a program. After 6 years, I found the AA program. I tried it a couple times, and it was not the right meeting. They weren't the right people. And by luck, I stumbled into the 7 o'clock men's meeting down at 2218 and had some great people down there when I came in with 30, 40 years of recovery. And then we get a lot of the new people from Park Place and from New Way who are just starting out with their recovery. So we get a real nice mix.
Yeah, there's a lot of recovery centers around 2218.
There
so
is,
I
that
know a lot
neighborhood.
come in
You
there.
bet.
And same with here. There's lots of newcomers that come in. So you've been in recovery how long?
Well, I've been dry for 12 years.
12 years. Dry. I like how you made that distinction. But you've been in recovery, what, 6?
7.
7. All right.
Better every day.
What would you tell someone who's on the fence about? I don't want your answer. What would you tell someone about someone who's on the fence, like I might go back out and use? What would you tell someone who's struggling today?
Oh, well, we
All
had
of you, and I want you guys all to pitch in on this. After he gives his opinion, I want you guys too.
We had our 7 o'clock meeting topic this tonight about Matthew Perry and how he used.
That's the guy who died, right? From
That's
Friends?
right. That's
All
right.
Yep.
How he used humor to fight his addiction, and I've been using that since the beginning, from the day I quit, because addiction is a big monster. And I found out a long time ago that the best way to deal with a bully is to laugh at him. And it really pisses him off. And if you can piss off a bully, it makes him just a little bit easier to handle. So that's the way I handle my addiction, is using humor. I make jokes about it. People ask me, "Oh, you had problems with drinking?" And I say, "Well, yeah, I ran out a couple times." And, people tell me, "Well, why did you quit?" And my life was miserable. I didn't know any other lifestyle, but I knew enough it was time to quit. I did. And then when I found the program, I did find another way to live than work hard, play hard. And even when I wasn't working, I was playing real hard.
Right.
Tell people, I got out like Muhammad Ali. I got out at the top, undefeated. So I make a lot of jokes about recovery, but it's serious business. By making those jokes, I make that monster 6 inches shorter each time. And if I can get him 6 inches shorter each time, pretty soon I can reach his chin. And if I can reach his chin, that makes him that much easier to fight.
Damn,
I
like your
can't
outlook on it.
do it alone. I do need the program. I do need the fellowship of the other people that I work with. But yeah, I can teach that bully that, maybe he should go pick somebody else, because I am a fighter. I always have been, and I always will be. So yeah, I make that monster a little bit smaller, and I tell people I beat my addiction.
You know what?
Yesterday, and he was there to be fighting all over again today.
I think anyone who's been in active addiction, alcoholism, drug use, they're fighters. If you're able to stay in addiction, you fought to stay in addiction. The majority, anyone I know who's been out there running and gunning, you were resourceful. You did what it take to keep going. So for you to say, you know, in recovery, I'm a fighter, it's something we have in us. So anyone listening, like, you can do this too. You're listening. I've had 17 people on the show tonight. Every one of them are battling. It's a daily battle. It's not just given to you. You can do this.
I beat my addiction yesterday, but the fight was there again today. But I am a selfish man because I'm an addict. So many people told me, well, I don't know how to change myself completely. You don't have to change yourself completely. Keep using that selfishness for the fight. I beat it now for whatever length of time, even if it's one day. I tell people, I haven't had a drink yet today, but the fight still goes on. Use that selfishness. Okay, if I've been sober this long, I'm not caving in yet.
Well, and that's the same. Dustin says it, or was it you? It's I don't need to make a full turnaround today. 1 degree. I'll do 1 degree today, and in a year from now, that's a whole 365 degrees. You don't need to do it all today. Just today. You know what? I had a guy in here who told himself, and I think he celebrated 15 years. I'll drink tomorrow. I wake up and I tell myself tomorrow I can have a drink. I don't know if he still does it 15 years into it now, but that's how he got through his first 2 years.
Yep.
Was I you know what? Just today, you know what? Tomorrow I'll go drink tomorrow. But today I'm not gonna. Whatever you find out there.
Any way you can stay sober, if it's religion, if it's a partner, a lover, any way you can stay sober is a way to stay sober. So keep doing it.
I get it. I'm right there with you. What would you say to someone out there struggling, Jimmy?
I'd say reach out. I mean, and I feel like when I say that, it's like that's one of the most difficult things, and it's the last thing on anybody's mind is to reach out to anybody.
When you're
you know
about
what
to
I mean?
use, yeah.
So it's like it's tough to say, and I like his answer. He comes here full. He's got a lot of tools in his toolbox, so I like listening to.
Yeah, Tim. I should have been on a show a long time ago, Tim.
It's you had a lot of good stuff to say, and it kind of reminded me. When I was in early recovery, and I know I have a lot of brash statements about it, but a lot of the old timers, a lot of the old timers said you just need to either go back out until you know, or but by that time you're already getting to the centers and you're already talking to the people, and I feel like joke's on me if I get there, because once that seed's planted, you know, it's every time I've gone back out ever since the first meeting that I ever went to, it's always been in the back of my mind. That, and there was a really old guy, and he was always like. He's just got a really aggressive personality, and he'd be like, "Dumbass, how was it?" You know, every time I come, he'd be like, "How was it, dumbass?" I'm like, and I'd listen to him every time I'd use in the back of my mind, like, "Here you go again, dumbass." You know what I mean? And I don't want people to take that out of context, like you're a piece of shit. You know?
No.
But it's like there's these little things in my life that's brought me back. I was a chronic relapser,
right.
Until I was able to actually work the steps. You had talked about being dry for so many years. I feel like I had recovery for the first few years, and then I was dry for like 4.5, and then I'm finally now getting some solid recovery.
Into steps and sponsorship, all this, and then you kind of got away from that.
Oh yeah.
And that, you know, luckily you didn't go back out. A lot of
yeah.
time.
I was there, and I was staring at it all the time, but I never.
So, like, here's a question I have for you. You just said you're 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call someone before you picked up? I'm just curious. Like
that, I wish I had an answer for. I guess.
Did you even think of it, or was it a?
No, I didn't think of it. The old me came back, and I knew the minute that I was going to use, I made that decision, and I wish I could give an answer for it. You know what I mean? It's a tough question.
I've heard the relapse happens way before you pick up that first drink or that first drug again.
A lot of it starts with habits. A lot of it starts with habits and viewpoint, the way you view, your paradigm, and things. It's the way my brain was formed long ago from the trauma as a child. You know what I mean? And that's just a thing that I'm working on.
Familiar people, familiar behaviors. You know those, and it's hard to let those go when you decide you're going to be somebody different. Got to keep your eye on the prize. It's hard. It's really hard sometimes. And even after, for me, over 12 years, it's still hard. But I'm a proud, arrogant man. And I won't let that go because I won't lose. If there's a fight, okay, I'm taking brass knuckles.
Right, right.
If there's a knife, I'm taking a gun.
I think
I'm taking all the weapons into the fight that I can because I'm going to win. I'm walking away.
Fucking yeah! Fucking yeah! Real quick here, Jess C, thank you. Dustin O, thank you. Rick M, thank you. Jay Willis, Dustin, Nick J, Jen, Bridge, Ashley, and especially, I had a lot of people reach out to me on the cell phone number that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. If you have questions that you don't want to post on there, keep on sending them to me directly. It's okay. I know that the whole thing with your face being on here isn't that awesome, and I should let people know that ahead of time before I go and do it. But you don't have to post a question directly on the comments. You can use my phone number and just reach out to me. Multiple people have, and I appreciate all the support with that stuff. Again, we are down here at We'll Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. We've talked about places like 2218 Alano Club, Blaine Alano. We talked about some Serenity Village, Eagle Brook. We've talked about a lot of different other places to go find some recovery. What we talk about in this place is just go find some recovery. It doesn't have to be here. It doesn't have to be at Blaine Alano, just anywhere. Just if there's something we could challenge you with, it's to go find another way of living if you're out there still running and gunning or shooting and booting and doing whatever that's not making you happy. There is a new way. You're hearing people talk about it. You're hearing multiple people. I think we're at 20 now. It was 17 before you three hopped on. But a lot of people come on here and share about their stories. We don't have the luxury of getting deep into stories except for near the end. Once we run through people, then we can just open up like, hey, do you have a higher power that works in your recovery today? And we'll start going about that. But also the other thing I wanted to share about was finances. I'm going to come up with a better way of sharing or asking. We need some help here financially at We'll Work for Recovery. They did get one grant in the last 2 years, and it was a struggle getting that, and I think they've already eaten that up. So anyone that is able to financially donate, go through the website and donate, or come on down. I did have a question from Randy, and Randy, I know you're listening, and I do apologize. We haven't worked out the kinks of a call-ins yet. I could do it where I put you on speaker, but it sounds like shit. We've tried it. It just doesn't sound good. But we do have, through StreamYard, we do have a way of you being able to call in to the StreamYard forum. And I feel like I'm speaking Chinese right now because I don't know what I'm saying. I just know that there is a way of doing it. And we will get this all updated. Eric was in here 2 weeks ago and showed me, and I just didn't listen. So I apologize about that. But here's a question for the three of you from Randy. Can you ask your guests, what brings you joy? We'll start with you. Joy. What brings you joy?
Family. Family brings me joy.
That's it? Anything else?
Good people. I consider y'all family pretty much. So, being around good people, smiles, people to welcome, warm hugs. That's what brings me joy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Carrie, congratulations on 13 months clean and sober. And thanks for checking in from Australia.
Hell yeah.
I think. Yeah. Hi from Australia. We appreciate the support and share this shit. Anyone out there listening, share this show to your Facebook page. I'm figuring out how to do that as well, sharing the show. Sorry. But yes, Jimmy, what brings you joy?
Well, lately, I feel like a lot of things I get really, really distracted easy, and things get really dull really fast. I'm like a fish. Once I bite the lure, and then I get released, I forget that I bit the lure. But the little things, like I was sharing in the meeting about trying to get back into having a firm foundation and the basics, and then what I'm reminding myself is that just the little things, like, not just brushing your teeth, but working out and doing the things that make me feel better. And when I don't keep falling asleep, keep hitting the alarm, rolling over, how all of that stuff compounds throughout the day, and I just feel better at the end of the day. I think that's what brings me the most joy lately. is knowing that I can still build and I can still do all that stuff. Kind of a long version answer.
That was a great. No, that's what I want. I know. I'm hoping that thing doesn't fall apart, Tim.
What is going on?
That's my hot
Is this
spot.
an NFL game? We got overseas cameras?
No, that's my hot spot. So, Tim, joy. What brings you joy today?
You know, I try to keep things simple. Life's a bitch and then you die. It's a fact.
Whoa.
But
It's a little dark.
but it all depends on your perspective. I remind myself every morning, I got out of bed without any help this morning. Used to take care of quadriplegics from the neck down. They couldn't move. And any day I can get out of bed without help, man, I've got a great start.
Do you,
It reminds
you know what? I want to
me-
ask you about that
Yeah.
real quick. I'm sorry. I know I'm cutting you off, but we have someone on who comes on. There's a TED Talk, a guy with no arms, no legs. He looks like a bowling pin. And I'm not making a joke, but he wobbles around, but he's the most joyous man I've ever seen. And he talks about all this stuff he's grateful for, all these things he does. No arms, no legs. And I ask you this because you're sharing what you shared. You took care of people that couldn't feel from the neck down. Whether you've done that in the past year or not, is that something that really daily pops into your brain?
Oh yeah, every morning. Just I worked with them for about 5 years, and it really impressed me. It really impressed me that my higher power allows me to get myself out of bed every morning, and that's just the start. And then again, I mentioned it all depends on your perspective. You can go with life's a bitch and then you die, or you can elevate yourself a little bit and see the little things. I got out of bed by myself today. I was in a car accident once. The doctor came in and told me I'd never walk again. I threw a pitcher of water at him, told him, get the hell out of here. Took me 3 days to train that guy to come in and say, hi, Tim, how are you today? Well, I'm walking and talking. That's, again, a gift that I received. And I recognize that gift every single day. The fact that I can walk and talk. The fact that I've got a car. It doesn't run right. I'm going to get that fixed, or I'll get a different car. But it gets me from point A to point B. I am truly blessed. I've just had so many wonderful opportunities. And if you get your perspective correct, you can see the opportunities that are coming at you every day, all day long, constantly. And then you have the choice. Which of these opportunities do I want to pursue? With a little bit of incentive, you can pursue the opportunities that you want.
See, I would have, now hearing you now, it shouldn't matter why I want someone on the show. It really shouldn't. I think you have a lot to offer. You know, I've spoke with you so many times at 2218. And I'm glad, I didn't know you're so insightful. I feel like it's almost a dig if I start complimenting you, but I didn't realize you're so insightful about a lot of this recovery stuff because I've never had a conversation with you about it, so how would I? But there's things that you've shared about that I would like to dive deeper into, but we are going to cycle through some people that you've all been on the show, so no hard feelings if you're still sitting there watching.
Just go into that fight with as many weapons as you can.
Yeah.
Refuse to lose. If you have to cheat to win, cheat. Don't lose. This is your life. Don't lose it to an addiction.
And you're talking about recovery with cheating.
I'm talking about recovery.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
a guy
lose.
like me.
Don't lose. Win no matter what you have to do. Be an Elon Musk.
Right. Hey, yeah, I'll take
Win
his
no
bank
matter
account.
what.
Shit. These are things like, first and foremost, would you be willing to come back on the show another Friday? Would you come back and get on?
Well, I just found the place, and I kind of think there's things happening here I like.
Good. Quick question. Did you ever get anything going with the mics there or something? You were asking. Remember, you were going to do something.
No, I'll talk to you about that
Okay,
another
later.
time.
Good enough.
Not
Good
on
enough.
not on the air.
All right. So talk to me about your gratitude.
You know, the fact that I was strong enough to dry out for 6 months, that I am that stubborn, I am that selfish. When I decided to, that was it. And then I found the program. I found another way of life that made sense. And I was able to embrace that. Not just that I found it and it made sense, but that I was able to let go of my ego and embrace it and find another way of life, that I can reach out and in little ways help other people. You know, these things, that's my gratitude, is that I have the ability to reach out and help those people. I should have died many times. And I don't think God kept me alive to do any one great thing. Maybe the reason he kept me alive is to open the door for somebody one time, to smile at somebody at just the right moment, to change their life. Maybe it's something little, I don't know. Or maybe my God, I think, really has a sense of humor. Maybe he just keeps me around for somebody to laugh at. And my God, I keep him rolling on the floor. I do know that.
I think that was a good rim shot statement.
Yeah, well, it's true. I really believe that.
Tim, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for making the trek here, and sorry about the whole getting in the building.
I'm in.
We're not going to be going much longer, so if you hold tight, I'll take you through the center. Dale, you going to come hop on for a minute? Brother, talk to me about your gratitude, and then you're battered out.
Oh, I'm good. My gratitude, I'm grateful for my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I'm grateful for these people here, you know. I'm grateful for second chances. You know, I'm grateful that life didn't end yesterday, that there's always a today, as long as I'm here and I make the right decision, you know what I mean? I'm grateful for this opportunity to be on the mic and be able to share my my experiences, you know. So if anybody's thinking twice about their recovery or going back out, you know, they got a reminder, man. There's a guy that's, you know, been out there and tried it over and over again, and there ain't no love out there. There's love here, and that's what I can tell you. It's, you know, is which one are you going to feed?
So last question for you is, will you be coming back on the podcast?
I will, yeah.
And you got to be clean when you're on.
Yeah, no doubt.
You didn't see me wink. I'm just fucking with you, man.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I'm glad you're here, man. Most people don't make it back, period.
Yeah.
I've been to too many goddamn funerals. Go back in the center and look at the T-shirts with rest in peace on them. We know what's out there waiting.
Right.
So I'm glad you did find your way back in the rooms.
Thank
Chelsea,
you.
get back on the mic. I got to ask you something.
Like,
Young man, who are you? Pay attention to the show. Put your phone away.
I'm Dale.
You can't whisper when you're on a mic.
I know, it doesn't work.
What's her name did that? Brandon and what's her name?
Lauren.
Lauren's like, no, don't ask me. Like, bro, I can hear you. Oh, we got someone hiding behind the rocking chair who hasn't been on yet.
I got to go open the back door for someone.
Good, perfect time. Come on.
Hey, anyone going towards the back door?
I can go do it. I got to piss like a racehorse.
All right, yeah. But
One of us will switch out. Okay.
Batter's up.
Yeah, someone's got to open the back door.
Come on, Mandy. Come on down, girl.
Joyce just hit me up. She's waiting outside to get in here.
Go.
He's going to get it right now.
Chelsea, I need to ask you something.
What's up?
What brings you joy?
Oh my God. Nature.
Oh, yeah? No.
Water.
Say rocks. Say rocks.
No, I'm not the rockhead.
Rocks.
That's my dude. No, but
There it is. I've been waiting to give that to you assholes
what
for so long.
brings me? Dang, this is one of Wayne's.
Yeah, I know.
Sweet sauce. What brings me joy is when I find that, like, I mean, it might sound kind of cliche, but you know, that peace and serenity. When shit finally stops feeling like I'm struggling and I'm having to work for it and I'm able to just be, that's when I feel joy. I don't know if maybe it's just because there's been so many extremes in my life and that constant chasing after the highs, you know, that to me, joy today is a much more balanced feeling than what I used to think of as joy. So I feel like what brings me joy today is when I'm just able to exist in my natural state, the way my higher power just intended me to be. And I feel like I experience that most when I'm in nature, when I'm back to, you know, what created me. I feel like I'm part of the universe, right? So that balance is where I feel the most joy.
So I want you to piggyback on that. First, introduce yourself and piggyback on what brings you joy.
Hey, girl, hey. Mandy, and I'm in
Say,
recovery.
hi, girl, hi. That's not
Hi, girl, hey.
Mandy, what brings you joy?
I love that I'm here for this question because for over a decade, people ask what life goals are, and I always said I want to find my joy. I said it so much that my mom for Christmas, she couldn't even wait to give me the present. She like a month and a half early. She's like, "You need to open this right now." She got me a bracelet and it says "Choose Joy." And for me, a lot of things make me happy. A lot of things make me excited. I feel like joy is something that I give to everything else. It's that internal feeling. So I think it's a lot of it comes from like giving. Honestly, giving of self. Even when I give to myself out of that self love, seriously, and that's joy to me. Is when I'm putting something else out there to make myself, somebody else, something a better situation than what it was before. That's what gives me joy.
Dale, what brings you joy? Or who are you and what brings you joy?
Well, let's see. I'm Dale. And what brings me joy? You know what? It's very cliche, but I love being able to help other people in recovery. I mean, that's the one
That's not cliche. That's something we didn't do before recovery.
I mean, that's the one thing that I love seeing the new person come in. I love being able to help them out. I love being able to get them started. And then my favorite part is watch these people go 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Because I don't get a chip all the time, but be able to watch them get their chips and how happy and how excited they get about getting that chip reminds me of how I was when I was getting my chips. And that's kind of like me getting a chip to be able to watch somebody get their chip that you've been there for. You've been trying to help them out, trying to be there. Take phone calls at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And even if you have to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're still taking phone calls at 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 o'clock. It's fine. I love doing that stuff because that's what makes me happy. And that's what keeps me sober.
People say, or I've heard, that the dirty little secret of the 12 steps is the 12th step.
The 12th step. 100%.
And that's what it is.
It is a dirty little secret.
But
Yeah.
that's
It
where the joy is,
I know.
man. In the
And that's
12th
the
step.
best part.
But I have a question for all three of you on this one is how long before that was able to happen in your recovery?
Ooh.
Because I can tell you right now, for me, it was not in that first not in them first 3 months. There's no way.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. So how long did it take you before?
I didn't pull my head out of my ass until I was almost 5 years sober.
I got my head pulled out of my ass by my sponsor a lot sooner than that. I mean, it wasn't until about a year into it when I started really finding more happiness in helping other people. Because in the beginning, they're like, well, it's a selfish thing. You got to be selfish. You got to always take care of yourself. And I did that for the longest time, but then I realized being able to help other people out brought me a lot more happiness in my life. And, you know, just the turnaround of helping other people has always been a big bonus. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing, if it's for recovery or just helping someone out, anybody with a flat tire on the side of the road. I always like doing that.
So, Mandy, I guess the question would be first is watching other people find happiness. Does that bring you joy?
Absolutely, if it's for all the right reasons. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things that bring people happiness that aren't good for them, you know?
Yes, I know.
Samesies.
Samesies. So, how long into recovery before you realized it?
I think it wasn't like a aha moment for me overall, but every time that I saw that light bulb go off in somebody else's head, the way that I knew that it happened for me, that was it for me every single time. And it just seems to grow more and more the further I get into my recovery, and seeing that action, seeing that happen, that light come into someone's eyes, like they got it. They just got it. Because I know those moments that I got it and I held on to it. So I think that's where it is for me.
I think about one of the first times it happened to me was with the Serenity Prayer. I said it thousands of times before. All of a sudden one day I was like, wait, oh my God. No. The things that cannot change. Like I was just dissect one day and it was just like that, a light bulb moment. Real quick, we have a new Narcotics Anonymous meeting that it started last week. It's called Scars and Tattoos NA. It's 1415 West 35th Street in Minneapolis. It's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at Ikitami Tattoos. We do a recovery meeting while you can do drawing. It's at a tattoo shop, but it's also an art center. Come on down, check it out. 10 a.m. Saturday mornings at 1415 West 35th Street. Scars and Tattoos, NA. Yes. Now, left field question that we went deep into with these two last week. Here we go. Mandy, is there life on other planets?
Oh gosh.
Has nothing to do with recovery.
Wow.
But I want everyone's take on this.
I think it would be pretty.
No. Is there
Yeah,
life on other planets?
I would. Yeah, I want to believe there's life on other planets.
Okay,
yeah.
what kind of life?
Good question. Probably not as I would define it.
How would you define it?
Well, I speak from what I know.
Yeah.
Right? So that'd be like what we see in our ecosystem here, what we consider life forms. For all we know, it could be something completely different on another planet.
I had a guy say plants, and he's like, "That's life." I know there's other planets with life on it, and there's plants.
Right.
Not bipedal. Is there life on other planets, Chelsea?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I mean, sure, why not?
No, that's not the answer. Sure, why not? What kind of life?
Organic life.
Oh, you bitch.
That was perfect. Organic life, you bitch.
Talk to
I
me.
mean, I think that's what Wally was supposed to be looking for.
Wally.
When he went out, they were looking for some form of organic living matter that would have been there.
Wait a minute. You're not gonna. make
And
any
you
more
know,
pro
that's so
Wally?
selfish of us as humans, like to think that that's what this is what's sustainable. And it's like, I mean, like Mandy's point is like,
You mean we're not the center
our
of the universe?
perception.
Just you, Tim.
Exactly.
Just you.
This is such a distorted question to ask a bunch of addicts and alcoholics.
Why do you think it's on the show?
Hey, it got some good responses last time. As long as you don't mention the Big Bang Theory.
So you think it's so distorted? What you were going on before I was rudely cutting you off? Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really have a point. I think it's just fun to speculate. Yeah, sure.
It used to be,
of course.
do you think we're alone in the universe? And if not, what do you mean?
Absolutely, I don't think we're alone in the universe.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Keep digging.
if you think about, I mean, the only evidence that I've been given about the stuff that's bigger than me that I can't see, right? And some of the ways that they've proven that is with vibration. So vibration is one thing that I've been able to see physical evidence that like, whoa, there is some stuff going on
Yeah, around here that
we just can't explain, don't understand, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, I mean, why would I think that it stops there? You know, I mean, it's
that's
gonna
100%, yeah.
Wait,
infinite.
are you going to tell me the world's not flat now?
Wait a minute. I thought that's why they sold the maps that way.
That's not a question I'm posing. There's no is the planet flat questions.
Then why do they have flat maps?
Because there's no way you can have a round map except for a globe. So check it out. Check it out. Dale, are we alone in the universe?
I already answered this question.
I didn't hear you.
The Big Bang Theory.
Well, I didn't. That's not an
From
answer.
Sheldon. No.
Oh, yeah, you're a Sheldon dork. I don't want to hear your dude's getting off a 9 o'clock TV show answer.
By the way, it's 6. It's 6 o'clock.
Dork.
Young Sheldon comes on at
You
5.
Every day.
Dork.
I watch both episodes
Yep,
with my dad
So
every
do
day.
I.
You're all dorks.
It's a great show to watch. He did
Young
not let-
Sheldon or regular Sheldon?
They're
I don't
getting
know.
to the point now where they're bridging that gap to where young Sheldon ain't young anymore.
Yeah, and now he's, you know.
And I'm third
And
rock
Pete-
from the sun. Come on.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the old guy
Let
from
the
the
old
third
guy
rock
get a
from the sun.
Werther's and
So
think
you're
about
way
it.
out there.
Wait,
and
give me one of
slightly
them.
abrasive.
This is like the best. Thank you, sir.
You're like grandma right now. I love this.
I have gratitude
More like Grandpa,
for
but you know.
Tim sharing his Werthers with me. I'm not grateful for the Werthers themselves. I'm grateful that Tim is willing to share them with
Yeah.
me.
I know, and I only have one left now. And I'm gross.
And I appreciate you.
All right.
Handing them out.
This is the point in the show where you guys ask questions.
Okay. Wow, that you just got out of that.
Why
real
do you
fast.
like doing this podcast?
Yeah.
Bitch, again. I called you bitch twice tonight. I really apologize. I don't mean it.
It's
the way
a
it
good
sounds.
thing that I don't take offense to it.
But I know you well.
Because some people do, and I
know.
definitely am
I
not
take
one of
offense
those
on her
people.
behalf, actually. I'm a delicate fucking flower.
So here's the
Sorry.
thing. I enjoy my life. And you asked me what again?
Why do you like doing this podcast?
It's my Friday night meeting. It gives me my.
Do you like doing this
I
podcast?
love it.
Okay.
For a while, it was an ego thing. Because I was told, Tim, you're the talent. Do you know how big that made my head?
Dangerously.
Very.
We're lucky the headphones still fit.
I loved being able to say, no, I'm just the talent. For a while, I said it like an asshole. Like, I'm just a talent. But then I was like, I'm the talent.
I get that.
Now, serious, in this last year and a half, it's been more or less like, this is my Friday night meeting. This is what I do for a meeting. I enjoy hearing about other people's recovery. I do. This is a change the way we do the show now. What we're doing now, keeping the same people on, like when Tad and I got this going, it was a guest for 2 hours, and we could get into substantial conversations. You both know, you were both on. It's hard to ask someone, do you have a higher power, and what's that look like in your life today, and really go deep into that. You can't do that when you're cycling through people every 5 to 10 minutes. But we also kind of have to look at where we're at, how the center is, newcomers, everyone has a voice, and we kind of want to portray that out there to the recovery community. So that's why we're trying this new format. We'll try for a few months, depending on viewership and feedback. We might go back to doing interview stuff, or we might add another night of doing a show. Don't know. This is my Friday night meeting. I enjoy doing it. It's my meeting.
Right
That's
on.
how I look at it.
Okay, Tim. If you could be a superhero, what superpowers would you have?
If I could be a superhero, what superpowers would I have? Do you mean to just say?
And who would you be? No, it's a double question.
And dude, that's a really loaded. There's a lot of questions in that.
I know.
You said
Tim has had this
superpowers.
conversation, though. I know for a
He's
fact.
throwing my
given-
question at me.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
know.
And the question was this.
Oh, no,
what
I twisted it.
superpower would you have?
No, I twisted it for a reason. I didn't want to make it easy.
What would you say? A stretchy man? Something silly. Or no.
We're not going to what I said.
Yeah, you had
Yeah,
some
you just
corny-
told me what you said.
It would fly. I'd be able to fly.
And what would you call yourself?
Fucking flying Tim.
You're very creative today.
I don't know.
Fucking
Tim
flying,
with-
Tim that can fucking fly.
Tim with wings. I don't know. Look at me. I'm getting all agitated. You're asking me questions. I don't like it.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Why?
Because it's the color I love.
Why do
It's
you
the
love
color
it?
of my beautiful eyes.
Why do you love it so much?
Because it's the color of my beautiful eyes. Bro,
What's
you're
your
shitty
favorite season
Oh, yeah.
and why?
at this. I do like fall because of the leaves.
Okay.
Only since I started riding motorcycle.
Right on.
There shouldn't be a subpart B to a question, an answer though. That's bad. All right, I'm taking the show back. So here's another question I had brought in from someone who was listening, but it's what's your biggest failures and your biggest success in recovery? What's the scariest thing about being sober? What is one of your biggest barriers to being in recovery? How do you cope with shame and guilt? What does it mean to you to be part of recovery? And tell about one of your character defects and how you're working on it to correct it. We'll go with that one.
Which one you ain't listed about?
Talk to me about your character defects.
Looking at me. Oh.
One of your character defects. Tell me about. Here's how it was worded.
That's
I
funny.
got a list of like 10 questions that was sent in. Tell about one of your character defects and how are you working on it? How are you working to correct it?
I work on it every day, and I was just talking about it today too. Matter of fact, control, the illusion of control. I guess I should say, control freak through and through. Long before I was deep into my addiction, and getting to release that control daily. I have a friend that she's like, every time you try to take control back from your higher power, all of a sudden you're looking down in your hands, you're like, oh my gosh, crap, I have it again. And then you throw it back up to God, right? Or your higher power. And I literally at points in my life, when I started going into that habit again of trying to take control and make it my way and manipulate the situation, I would literally hold my hands out and throw it up in the air and be like, okay, it's back to you. Granted, I'm going to try and take it back again. I know I will, because it's a defect that I continuously try to work on. But that physical action now that I have of literally throwing it back up to my higher power helps me to just release it. So that's it for me.
Dale, tell me about a character defect of yours and how are you working on it to correct it?
Man, I was really hoping you're giving me one more person. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely one of my character defects. No, control is always an issue. And that's a good one. When she said it, it's like, man, that is one of my problems. But, I guess I'm still a giant people pleaser, and I really have a bad issue with that in my life. And trying to say no to people is one of my defects. I do not say no enough. If someone texts me, and like I said, and asks me, and it's my last $20, I'll give it up, and I'll suffer for the rest of the week trying to make it. And I always act like, oh, it's okay, And I always try to be positive. Oh, I can make more money tomorrow. Well, the problem is, yeah, I'll make more money tomorrow, but I actually don't get paid until Friday. You know, trying to help other people and pleasing other people, that is one of my biggest defects because I need to also still take care of myself at the same time and make sure I can take care of myself at the same time. So, I'm
We
going with that.
totally need to sidebar more on that topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Samesies.
Holy cruncher.
Sorry.
Wow, that was a loud one.
We know you're not an old woman eating Werthers. They can't crunch them things.
Yeah, you don't ever hear that on there.
Mine is crunching Werthers on air. What's a character defect of yours that you have, and how are you working on it?
Self-seeking.
Self-seeking?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
I'm selfish.
Okay.
But no, I just that needing to prioritize myself in situations, you know, make myself comfortable, think about myself first. I've just been really trying to challenge myself to think about others more. I know that that's the equation. I know that that's what works is when I'm in service and when I'm thinking of others. I know that keeps me out of the selfishness. So just actively practicing that. And I find the most practice with it with simple little everyday stuff. You know, the more things that I can notice holding a door for somebody or just smiling and saying hi to, the small, tiny little things, if I can actively, consciously focus on those things, I feel like that's the opposite of being self-seeking. And I think it's just human nature that we want to protect ourselves and be comfortable and, you know, be in a safe space. And that's the self-seeking part of it. But I think just as an alcoholic and an addict, I tend to, you know, that's my sickness, is that I want to be comfortable and I want to be safe and I want to be happy. And whatever happens around me, I want to just desensitize myself to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Self-preservation is, I think, just a human nature.
Took
Like-
the words
Yeah.
right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Seriously. Get out of my brain.
It's funny because as you're describing it, it's like, oh, wow. Man, I got to add another one to it. Son of a bitch. I didn't think of that.
And I mean, that really kind of covers all of the character defects, really, at the end of the day for me. It's the broad spectrum of the negative things, right?
Oh, exactly.
But like I said, I feel the way I'm able to really practice combating that is with the little things. I don't have to make it such a big deal, you know. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to go out and volunteer and do this big charity thing. It's just think of, even something as simple as like, I've started doing prayer and meditation with my dad in the morning when I get up, you know, and it's like, that was something that took me a long time to realize, like, oh, this is a way that we can connect. And it can mean so much to him in the morning when I'm just busy, gotta go. But I've been taking all this time and effort on my part for all these years to make sure 100% that I get my 15 minutes in the morning, right? And then I was like, why don't I share part of that? Like, you know, like with my dad, who is a very faith-based, centered, calm, peaceful person. And I got so much of that from him that it was like, oh, you don't need to be so selfish with that 15 minutes of prayer and meditation in the morning. Why don't you share that with your dad? And that's like totally blowing my mind. And I got that suggestion from the book. I got it from the text, you know.
Well, what has it done to your relationship with your dad, too?
Well, it just started about a week ago, and it's created a much more safe space, I feel, for vulnerability for us. It's something that we've needed to work on in general with our relationship because we were alienated and sort of isolated from each other for almost 10 years. And then my higher power brought us back together. And so now we have this grooving little relationship where we're just navigating the two of us together. And it's a cool thing how my higher power is meeting us. We don't have the same higher power. And so it's really cool for me that we're able to meet in the middle. And I think at first that was why it was hard for me, was because we have very different higher powers. And so I was afraid to try to mesh those. But I have a safe space today that my higher power is like, nope, it's going to be all right. Go ahead, do that.
That's really cool
and
that
it's
that
been
worked
awesome.
out like that for
Yeah.
you. That is just,
yeah,
that's something that, that's really cool how that works out. It's amazing sometimes how the little things that we don't think that are going to work end up working out way better than we thought in the long run.
Mandy, what's a lesson you had to learn the hard way?
How much time we got?
All the time in the world.
I'm an addict. I've learned most of my lessons the hard way, right?
Is there an easy way to learn these ones?
Right. There's another.
There's another
way.
path we could have took?
Wow. Wow, lessons I had to learn the hard way.
Or something. It doesn't have to be the word lessons.
I don't know. I mean,
but
any mistake that I make that I can take a look back on, honestly. I think for me, anytime I've had to go back and like play the tape forward and see like where things came from in general. I'm trying to think of a specific instance, but there's like a lot. like I said, how much
There's
time
a
do we
lot
have?
there.
I know. I mean, it's just something as simple as like I can just have one drink, or I can change substances and it'll be okay. You know, all the negotiation tactics that I had in my addiction. I mean, that was probably some of my hardest lessons. Here we go. Learn the hard way. I am not smarter than my addiction. I like to think that I'm a smart girl.
Hey.
I am never smarter than my addiction, and that is hard for me to admit. Like I said, I think I'm
wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, wrong one.
I think that might be.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Let's do that. Like, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, the sound guy too. So, learning, but is that something you had to learn the hard way?
Absolutely.
How?
Absolutely.
What do you
Because I
mean?
can think my way out of a lot of stuff. And if I can't think my way out of it, I can at least try and talk my way out of it, right?
Right.
But apparently that does not work with my addiction. Everything got deeper and darker every single time that I tried a new tactic. Guess what? Still didn't work. Still an addict. Still messed my whole life up constantly. And you keep having the experience until you learn the lesson.
Oh, exactly.
I think that was very well put. Very well put. Young man,
Oh, God.
tell me about your gratitude and get the hell out of that chair after you're done.
Oh, let's see. What am I gratitude?
And you're up next.
You know what? We're just going to keep it short and simple. I'm just happy that everybody's here. I'm happy for everybody that's around. And that keeps me happy and going. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be here still today. So with
Hey.
that,
Thank you,
thanks.
Dale.
Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Joe.
Love you guys.
You're the best.
Good night.
Okay, so are you ready to be done? You grabbing your
No, I
headphone?
don't care.
Wow. Well, Jacob can come back on, or Tad can come back on. I kind of like having all girls on. I mean,
Of course you do.
Can we do ladies?
It's not that kind of show, buddy.
Yeah, it is. Wait till I get that curtain up. There's gonna be a curtain that's gonna go across your back, like right where you're sitting, right behind you, from wall to wall. And when I want to get this really personable, no, it's for when they have other meetings in the room. See you,
installing
Dale.
a dimmer
Thanks for all
switch
that you
later.
do. Yeah, that kind of got corny real quick and awkward. Who are you, young lady?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, welcome back to the show. And I have a brand new question for you to answer. How's your recovery going this last week?
Good.
Tell me about how your recovery's been going this last week.
I've attended 5 or 6 meetings in 1 week. So it's been going great.
What's one of your biggest barriers in being in recovery?
Scheduling work in between work and going to meetings.
What do you mean?
I literally will have to like find someone to cover so I could come in.
Well, like tonight, you came right from work, usually on Fridays, right?
Yep.
You race down?
Yeah.
Fuck, I love that support.
And I watch you guys while I'm closing up the store.
That's what's up. How do you cope with shame and guilt?
Forgive myself or forgive the situation and let it go.
Just that easy?
No, but you have to. You can't hold that. You can't hold on to it.
Tell me about one of your character defects and how you're working on it to correct it.
When we were sitting there and you asked that, I was thinking, I don't know how to answer that one. You're going to have to come back to me on that one.
You're the last one in the room to get the question, and you have to answer it. Now, we're going to wait until you... No. Okay. The very last one that came in was, what lesson did you have to learn the hard way?
I don't know.
Okay, then here, you can get this other easy one. What is one thing that you've always wanted to do but you've never done, and why?
Skydiving.
Oh, that was the hot one. And we rolled your eyes. You been skydiving? Was that you that went? No one else has.
I have.
Oh, well, at the time the question was asked, only you had. Are you gonna skydive? Like, have you looked into it, or is it something you're
I haven't looked into
actively-
it, but I want to.
Let's do it.
But I'm scared.
They do it once a year, a recovery thing, where like a group of recovery people go, don't they?
They
Isn't
do.
it?
They did this past year.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Get connected.
And I think it was a bunch of people from here, so.
All right.
Yeah, your door's not gonna get beaten down. You got to beat doors down, if that makes sense.
Create the fellowship you crave.
Create the fellowship you crave. Fuck, I like that, Chelsea.
It's in the big book.
Just let me steal it.
That's why
I can third party steal. Somebody like, nah, I've read that somewhere. Like, no, Chelsea said that shit. It was straight from Chelsea. Chelsea C.
But that's a big part of K. But that's a big part of like, you know, like we've got to show up and bring something to the table. We can't just expect it to be there for us.
Is that kind of like that thing? Like, don't be that selfish where you just come, take, and don't give back.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Chelsea, tell me one more time about what you're grateful for in life.
Can I ask? Can I
Yes!
answer the other question?
Yes!
That you said. What
Which
was
one?
the one you had to learn the hard way?
Yeah.
A lesson
Didn't I-
that you had to learn the hard way.
Oh, you
I don't think I got to answer that, but I just want to answer that and then I'll be good.
That was a
Because
great
when you
question from
asked
one of our
her,
guests,
I was like, dang, man. And I will tell you what it is. It takes a long time to earn my family's trust back. And that is one of the hardest lessons that I've had to learn in recovery is that gaining trust takes time. And with that, I'll pass.
You mean you're gonna drop the mic?
Yeah, I'll drop the mic.
Boom.
All right, Jacob or Tim, are you gonna hop on tonight again? Will you hop on?
I'll hop on.
Come on, come on. Melanda.
What's up?
Melindy.
it's actually Barbie. The first time I met her, she had all pink on, looked so good. And I'm saying those shoes and that outfit. So I didn't know her name, and I could only remember it as Barbie.
You know what's messed up is right away I was like, I think she has you confused with.
Oh.
Instantly, that's what I'm thinking though. I'm like, Barbie, why would she think of you? I think she's thinking.
Looking at me tonight, I definitely am not having my Barbie look going, but,
but
that's
she
okay.
did. She
I
did. She came
you know
in.
what I'm talking about. Like, nothing. Just listen here. Anyone can be Barbie, and anyone can be Ken. All right, just let it be.
You're Knuff.
You're Knuff, my butt. All right, listen here. What's one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn? Wait, who are you first? Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Get close on that mic. This one.
Isaiah. There we go.
It'll start monitors. Are you out of here, Chelsea?
Yes, guys.
I love you. Thank
you,
you,
guys.
Chelsea.
Bye.
God is good. I
Hey,
can't
whoa,
believe I was
whoa,
here tonight.
whoa.
Hell
I was
yeah.
so excited
I
to
know.
give you guys a sticker
One
you
of my
already
most
had.
favorite surprises tonight was looking and seeing you.
You got stickers?
You remember we still whisper, we can hear it on air.
It's okay. Everyone else can hear it too. It
So
wasn't a
Isaiah,
secret.
welcome back to the show. And what's one lesson that you've had to learn the hard way in life?
We don't control our destiny to a certain degree.
Elaborate.
I feel like there's no such thing as a coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences either. So, you had to learn that the hard way. What do you mean? Like, you say you learned that the hard way. What was the other side of that? Like,
What do you mean, like a life experience?
yeah. What lesson did you have to learn the hard way? That there is no such thing as coincidences. Learning that the hard way, I guess that would require an example.
I thought my whole life I'd go and play baseball my whole life. Obviously, that didn't happen.
I get it. Don't control your destiny. What's some hobbies that you gave up because? All right, nope. Tell me about one of your character defects.
I'm angry. I'm not like a angry person, obviously, but like I'm angry at the world and the way it is, and I feel like how it should be.
What do you do to try to not let that take over your every emotion? How do you work on that?
Just say we ball.
Say what?
Just say we ball. We do what we gotta
we ball. I thought it was like one of them like, ooh, fraba, rubber shit.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
What's one of your biggest failures and your biggest successes?
At least going to a college campus for a little bit. Say that again.
One of your biggest failures and one of your biggest successes.
I don't know.
I know people don't think about it ahead of time. Like, ah, shit.
Yeah, I
What
don't
can I
know
talk
that.
about one of my biggest failures? Mandy, your turn to ask a question.
To ask a question?
To ask a
Oh, I was
question.
thinking of the answer to the one that you just asked.
Come on. What is it?
Biggest success and biggest failure?
Biggest success
On the
and
same
biggest
one.
for failure.
Being a role model for my children.
That's deep.
But teaching them how to be also, so being a role model in the best and worst way. How they should act and how they never want to be. My youngest has reminded me many times over that she never wants to be like her mom. And I get why, right? And it's like, yeah, I would rather them learn from my mistakes than have to go through that themselves, granted. But that's a hard pill to swallow as a parent, right? You want to lead by example. And I don't want to show them all the bad examples and be like, nope, not doing that. Nope, not doing that. But I have. And I'm fortunate from the success part of it that I can have conversations with my daughter about that, and we can talk about that and things that she's doing good, and I can be honest about what I went through with her. She's 14. That's hard to do at first.
At that age, too.
Yeah. I don't tell her everything. I mean, come on now. But still.
You know what? We're stopping the show. We're ending it. I'm having some issues with. I'm having some technical stuff. I should have been watching my messages. I'm sorry. If you can hear me out there, come on down to 2520 North 2nd Street. Sorry about any technical stuff that occurred on the show tonight. If things were cutting out, we'll get that figured out. I'm sorry I was not watching messages and not being made aware of that. So, 2520 North 2nd Street. If you're out there struggling, like there is a better way, come on down, check it out. Like I said earlier, we've talked about multiple places of recovery. 2218 First Avenue South. We've talked about Serenity Village and Eaglebrook Church. We've talked about Blaine Alleno, Fridley Alleno, New Hope Alleno, and down here, 2520 North 2nd Street. We'll work for recovery. It's a resource center, open 7 days a week. We've got all sorts of stuff. And listen, you're worthy. If you're out there struggling, like come find one of these places and just give it a shot at another better life. You are worth it. And if someone hasn't told you it today, I will. You're loved. Next week, we'll see ya.